President Trump and some supporters have teased headlines about a potential third presidential term, but a lot of people hearing that say, is it bluster or just conjecture? Well, get this. On board Air Force One, this is what Mr. Trump said about that very subject.
I have my highest poll numbers that I've ever had. And, based on what I read, I guess I'm not allowed to run. So we'll see what happens.
Johnson says you're trolling when you talk about a third term.
Well, I don't think he said that. I don't think he'd use that term, but it's a very interesting thing. I have the best numbers for any president in many years, any president. And I would say that if you read it, it's pretty clear. I'm not allowed to run. It's too bad. I mean, it's too bad. But we have a lot of great people.
So let's go live to Washington and CBS News political reporter Zak Hudak. Zak, even the president said recently that the public would see that as, quote, too cute, to use his words. So why does this subject keep coming up?
Reed, this is something that President Trump has brought up on occasion since really his 2020 re-election campaign. But I think the inclination people have is to think this is an attempt to troll Democrats, get them whipped up about this idea. I think the reality is a little bit more strategic. I think what it is that the president does not want to have a lame duck presidency. Usually when we use that term, we're talking about the time after an election and before the next inauguration. But it could also be applied to a president serving their second term, because they live under the same reality that a president on his way out would. It's that everyone in Washington knows there's a timeline that when it comes to an end, they really will not have to deal with this person that much anymore. That takes a lot of the wind out of the sails of any president. It removes a lot of the leverage they have when they're dealing with Congress. So I think the reason we see the president addressing this and we see his former advisor, Steve Bannon, suggesting it is because it puts President Trump in a stronger position and makes people in Washington think there is a chance we will have to be dealing with him come 4.5 years from now.
Well, we do know he's staying in office at least long enough to finish that huge new ballroom project. But you also have some reporting today about some firings of people who are in place meant to oversee architecture in Washington, D.C. That famous line that President Trump made when he was a TV star, "You're fired," that was said over and over and over in D.C., no?
That is exactly right, Reed. He fired the 6 members of the U.S. Commission on Fine Arts, which is made up of experts on urban planning, urban design, on art. And what we heard from a White House source was that he was firing them in order to replace them with folks more aligned with the president's America First vision. So I think what we can infer from that is that he wants to replace them with people who will support his ballroom plans and the design of them, and people who will not be bringing up concerns that he is changing tradition or changing the traditional style of the White House. So I think we can look at this largely as a step toward his ballroom being built in the way he wants it to be built.
All right, so the East Wing gone, and so also those put in place to raise questions about that. Zak Hudak, great to talk to you there from our nation's capital. Have a good day.